towards reduction of spending by the state?
Good question. In the State House, there's numerous ways we can stop the spending. I don't know if you've noticed in the paper 5 weeks ago, the Huntington County Council asked every department to cut 7% out of everyone's budget. They cut $945,000 out of the county budget. The lights are still on, the doors are still open, and county government's still working. I was told there's no fat in county government. I'm also told there's no fat at the state government. We need to move forward, and we need to get in there and look at every department in there and work with them to help cut their expenses. I was on an IPLA board, which is an Indiana Professional Licensing Board, and everyone has an assistant and everyone has an office, and they're still running behind on their complaints for the Attorney General's office for the one particular board I was with. But there's many ways that we can stop and get these expenses back in line. We need to go line by line.
We need to put more control back in local government, which would mean shrink state government. We have too many employees at the state level. The State Board of Education is overreaching their bounds. We got too much administrative cost and not enough people working. I've got a wife as a school teacher who understands how to teach kids. She don't need to be told how to do it. She knows how to do it. She's done it for 23 years and she's one of the best. So it's time to allow the professionals who went to school to do it. It's time to allow the businesses to run their own businesses, get off their back. It's time to get rid of some of these administrative people and cut the cost and get government down to size where they belong. That's what we got to do. Now, is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be hard because government likes being big. They love it. They're not going to like me when I say it. But you know what? They haven't liked me since the day I signed up to run, so I'm not real worried about it.
I can tell you that the governor has cut state government by 30% in the last year. I can tell you that we have the least number of state employees since 1981 in the state of Indiana. 55% of the total state budget is K through 12 education. Another 15% is higher education. Another 15% is Medicaid, which leaves about 15% for state government. Folks, there's not enough to cut state government totally. Medicaid suffering, higher ed's been cut, and the last resort was K through 12. The governor cut K through 12 about 4 to 5%, and it's tough because God knows I don't want to cut education. But those are the only places left to cut.
And therefore, that's why we all pay too much in taxes. If I ask you to raise your hands, if you think you don't pay enough in taxes, no one in this room would raise your hand, I believe. That's why I signed a pledge very early in my campaign that if I'm elected, I will not support a tax increase. It's a pledge that I'll keep. It's a pledge that I have a record on as a Whitley County councilman. I was the only member of my county council to vote against renewing our wheel tax, for example. I've taken courageous stands on opposing tax increases, but it all gets back to how much money government spends, and that's why I support capping our property taxes. The less money that government has, and the more we restrict the money that they receive, the less they can do, and therefore the less of our tax dollars they can take at the end of the day. So I believe it's a very important question. It's a question that we all need to be asking our elected officials more and more every day.